Who doesn't love candies? But what if your childhood joy reminds you of a horrifying nightmare? A vengeful spirit that is not mere legend. A short story titled The Forbidden from Clive Barker's collection, Books of Blood, introduced us to this urban horror legend Candyman, who appears after saying his name 5 times in front of a mirror. His twisted physiology and the fact that bees reside inside his body make him the representative of cult classic American horror. And in today's video, we'll explore 12 physiological facts about Candyman that will blow your mind. Marvelous Videos brings you such fun videos every day. To support our efforts, kindly take a moment to click the like and subscribe buttons. Now that you've decided to join us on this journey, let's begin without further ado.
Annie, be with me.
Hook for a Hand. Daniel Robitaille was an African-American artist and son of an enslaved person who fell in love with Caroline Sullivan, a white woman. The forbidden affair was a crime in society's judgment, and Daniel faced death as a punishment. And now his vengeful spirit kills anyone who summons him. The faith of his followers in him is his fuel. He aspires to keep his legacy alive, and kills those who do not believe in his existence. Like the DC villain Scarecrow, he can invoke suggestion, fear, and seduction. The method of summoning his soul resembles the Blood Mary legend. Those who believe in the malevolent spirit of Candyman and summon him can see his physical form. If you don't believe in him, you won't see him. After the eventual chase, the townspeople hunted him down. They slashed off his right hand using a rusty saw as a punishment before smearing honey all over his body. They chanted Candyman, watching him bleed. The sugar scent of honey attracted the bees, and they attacked the wounded Daniel, which ultimately led to his death. When his spirit returned as Candyman, his lost hand was now replaced with a hook, a weapon he used for killing. He slashes those who call him, keeping his legend alive. In the original film, Helen's friend Bernadette is viciously stabbed by Candyman using his hook, splashing her blood all over the walls. In the 2021 film, the art critic is dragged across the room before he slashes her in midair with his deadly weapon. The hook is also a reminder of the injustice he faced, the cruelty and racial trauma given to him by society, and thus the hook has prominent symbolism and significance in Candyman's legend. Bees as a weapon and symbol. After cutting Daniel's hand, the crowd tore his clothes and covered him with honey from local hives. The bees attacked him, stinging him to his death. Just like the townspeople used bees as a weapon for his murder, Daniel, as Candyman, uses them to kill his victims. In the original, when Helen confronts him after escaping the psychiatric facility, he opens his coat and reveals his hollow ribcage swarming with bees. He can summon large swarms of bees that pour from this cavity, his eyes, and even his mouth. They swallow the target and sting them repeatedly. The bees crawl into the victim's lungs or mouth and suffocate them. The bees are not only Candyman's weapons, but also a sign of his arrival. Their buzzing sound strikes fear, announcing the impending danger. Just like Candyman's hook for a hand, these bees symbolize his pain and grief, the torture he's suffered. Iconic, right? But do you know a fun BTS? Actor Tony Todd, who performed this iconic villain, had real bees inside his mouth during the filming, and for each sting, he was paid $1,000. What would you call it? Dedication, or the painful way of getting rich? Immortality through legend. Unlike most evil spirits, Candyman's immortality is not bonded to any curse or magic, but to fear and belief. He is described as a ghoul who seeks immortality through the sustenance of his legend. He kills those who do not believe in his presence to keep his existence alive. The collective memory of his terror nurtures his fearsomeness. Just like a lullaby your grandmother used to sing for you, which she probably learned from her grandmother, the roots go way back, many generations. These repetitions keep the lore alive. Candyman follows the same path to remain immortal. No weapon, device, or fire can kill him. Think about it. What if his story fades away with time and no one knows his name or says it 5 times in front of a mirror? He won't be able to manifest himself. The fear of him breathes life into him. Even though we see many characters trying to erase his legend, no one succeeds because they fail to end the fear in people's minds. And thus, Candyman can never be destroyed. He will remain immortal as long as his legend persists. Physical manifestations via mirrors. When Daniel is deeply wounded with his severed hand and attacked by bees, his lover Caroline's father, the prime culprit, brings a mirror to show him his pitiful state. Daniel is shocked and utters Candyman before taking his last breath. The mirror takes significant importance in the vengeful spirit's lore, since one can summon him using it. We have all heard about Bloody Mary, and many must have tried to summon the spirit, but with time, the legend fizzled, leaving behind only the fun of it. Mirrors have been considered portals between reality and otherworldly realms. Folk Folklore has used them to trap or summon spirits. In the Candyman franchise, the object has more potent symbolism since it reflects the unfairness of society. In the 2021 film, Anthony McCoy experiences quick appearances of the evil entity in reflections, at places such as elevators where mirrored glass is present. When someone stands before a mirror with no faith in Candyman's existence, it represents a denial of the existence of the powerless by the people with a sense of superiority. Saying Candyman's name 5 times is an act of recognition of injustice, grief, and trauma. As they say, the mirror reflects the truth that cannot be denied, facts that cannot be overlooked, and memories that cannot be forgotten. Corporeal yet supernatural. Candyman possesses some supernatural abilities, such as levitating. The protagonist of Candyman, released in 1992, sees him floating horizontally in the air and flying out of the window. In Farewell to the Flesh, Annie Tarrant witnesses him rising out of the water and landing on its surface. That's not all. Candyman can also disappear into thin air and teleport at will. In the original movie, he suddenly appears behind Helen Lyle in a parking garage without making any sound. He whispers her name as he materializes. He's often chaperoned by a swarm of bees, and instead of walking, he prefers to materialize behind his victims. His preferred killing method is to gut his victims using his bloodied, rusted hook hand. It's so brutal that the dead are found physically torn apart in places such as bedrooms, bathrooms, and parking lots where mirrors are easily accessible. At such times, he's more than a myth or a supernatural entity, but a corporeal face of horror. Visible wounds and decay. Daniel was brutally tortured and humiliated, but when he saw his malformed state in the mirror, he was beyond shocked. As Candyman, every wound and deformity he possessed symbolized the chilling aspect of his unfair fate. His most prominent feature is his hook hand. The lynch mob chopped off his hand. I can suggest 2 possible reasons behind that brutality. First, Daniel was a painter who was hired to paint Caroline, but when he ended up impregnating her, he committed a crime in society's eyes. Cutting off his hand is perhaps a means of demoralizing him. Kill the artist in him. The second possibility I can think of is that the punishment was given because he had touched something forbidden and out of his reach with the same hand. Or there might be a third possibility that the mob simply wanted to inflict the optimum pain and fear upon him. Like we said, when he transforms into the malevolent Candyman, his right hand gets replaced with a rusted metal hook covered in crimson blood that mostly belongs to his victims. His more unnerving deformity is the hollow chest that is filled with bees. It's present right where he was covered in honey by his killer. It portrays Daniel's wound that never healed even after his death. Candyman's body horror doesn't end here. His partially rotten flesh indicates that he's undead, but also not reborn. Half of his face is normal and handsome, but the other is decayed. The horror iconography makes him more repulsive and terrifying. Voice and hypnotic power. Candyman's deep and hauntingly melodic voice is not only charismatic, but a spell, a weapon he uses to lure his victims. Often described as hypnotic and poetic, his voice works like a siren song. He can hypnotize and seduce his victims with his soft and commanding tone, solidifying his identity as a tragic lover and also a vengeful spirit. Lines like, "Be my victim" or "I came for you" won't fail to send a chill down your spine. At the Cabrini Green Project, Candyman offers Helen immortality in the original film during the final confrontation, and then kisses her. He uses his voice to coax her. In the 2021 film, his spirit doesn't speak, but makes painful, eerie sounds through Sherman Fields. His voice puts people in a trance, where he can control their minds and dictate their actions. He compels them to surrender and offers immortality. Pain and suffering as identity. Bernard Rose's Candyman is more than just a slasher villain. He's a symbolic representation of historical trauma, a reflection of the insecurities and generational rage, and his story is a burning testimony of racial violence. The only sin this artist committed was falling in love with a white woman. Contemporary society deemed interracial couples and their biracial children as corrupted and a threat to their white supremacy. Daniel's story lives among the innumerable lost stories because Candyman wants everyone to remember him. The buzzing bees that swarmed inside his chest and the rusty metal hook that replaced his severed hand symbolize the method of his murder and also the unfairness he faced. He appears to only those who doubt him, forcing them to confront what they have ignored. Even decades later, the film maintains its relevance in modern and developed times. A will to hunt arises from the pain of betrayal and injustice he experienced. Candyman wants to punish and keep his legend alive, so the brutalities that happened to him will never be forgotten. Sensory influence. A sweet honey scent precedes Candyman's arrival and has a connection with his brutal past. This particular scent triggers fear and psychological dread in his victims. It's a symbolic reminder of his suffering. The buzzing of bees accompanies this scent. Candyman is always surrounded by them wherever he goes. They're an integral part of his horror iconography rather than just a mere detail. The sound alerts the victims to Candyman's presence nearby, builds suspense, and fills the air with anxiety. The bees crawling out of his mouth, chest cavity, or open wounds enhance the visual horror to the point disappoint the audience, not only feels disgusted, but also horrified. His deep, poetic voice is another one of his weapons, enchanting but lethal. These sensory cues invoke fear in the victim about Candyman's presence and his ruthless actions. Infectious fear. Like all other urban legends, Candyman's story spread prominently through informal means such as gossip or rumors shared between friends and dramatic recreation for entertainment. The more his story is shared, the more imminent he becomes. As we've discussed before, time can erase his memory, but never the fear engraved in the community. The power of this supernatural entity resides in belief, and those who question it have to be his victims to keep his legacy alive. Every new victim affirms his presence, keeps his memories alive in people's minds, and he feeds on that acknowledgement as an immortal. One cannot act like a cat who drinks milk with closed eyes. Ignorance does not mean it does not exist, and Candyman reinforces that natural law. Physical vulnerability and death. We've explored how powerful the Candyman is, but we haven't yet discussed his one vulnerability that finds its roots in his past: fire. Yes, he's immortal and possesses supernatural strength and abilities. However, he's susceptible to fire. He lives inside the mirrors and his self-portraits. He can't be killed with any traditional weapon or magic, or any other supernatural way, but burning these mirrors and paintings can physically damage him. One thing must be noted: fire cannot completely destroy his vengeful spirit. It can only cause him harm by disrupting the connection between reality and the realm in which he lives, inside a mirror, leaving him vulnerable. You must have seen how they use smoke to sedate the honeybees in apiculture before extracting honey from the hives. In a similar fashion, the bees can be harmed using fire. It's safe to say that there's only one weapon you can try against the evil spirit, and it is fire. Transformation and rebirth. The concept of the Candyman mantle is based on the idea that this curse is not bound only to Daniel Robitaille. As the legend grows after passing through generations, Candyman infects other people too. In the 2021 film, the primary character, Anthony McCoy, is attracted to the myth of Candyman, and he studies it in great depth for a scholarship. He gets so immersed in the dark world of the urban legend that he eventually gets cursed, and then becomes a new Candyman. When he violently kills a cop, his transformation into Candyman is reaffirmed. Followed by Daniel, multiple successors of the Candyman mantle rise at places where social and racial trauma are prevalent. This rebirth of the legend signifies the generational trauma and the fear present in the collective consciousness of society. Marvelous verdict. The Candyman franchise is not solely a horror, but a critical commentary on society, injustice, and oppression. From Daniel's brutal death to the revival of Candyman's legend in modern times, we've explored 12 physiological facts about the malevolent entity, but also discovered his pain and grief. We hope you liked the video. In the comments, let us know what topics you'd like us to make videos about in the future, and we'll see you in the next one. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.